Good morning, everyone. How's everybody doing this morning? I saw Mark walking in. He said falls in the air. I said, really? Well, he says he keeps blowing leaves off the back porch, and so he figures falls in the air. I think they're just dying, Mark, is what it is. Trees are just dying out there. Welcome to the Center of Unity. It's exciting that you've joined us this morning. We're glad you're here. If it's your first time, we just want to say welcome, welcome, welcome. We hope you find something here that you like and it's pretty cool. And if you're joining us online, we want to say welcome to you as well. If you'll put a little something in there and let us know you're with us this morning, that would be fantastic. So, 2 Corinthians says, my grace is sufficient for you. And God's grace is his official job title. Grace is his official job title. Grace is not something that God gives. It is something that God is. And Richard Rohr says, grace is God's first name. And it's probably his last name too. Grace is what God does to keep all things that he has made surrounded in love and alive. The goodness and grace of God fills all the gaps in the universe without discrimination and without preference. God is the gratuity of almost everything. The space between everything is not space, it's spirit. All right, so we're going to say, why don't you go ahead and stand up with us this morning? We're going to sing a song about grace. Why don't you go ahead and hit this? Words are going to be on the screen.
Well, good morning, everyone. So good to see all of you here. It's always a beautiful thing to see all the faces and feel the energy. I was telling somebody, it's hard to believe that it's been several years, but during the height of the pandemic, we started live streaming from here, but it would be a few of us and nobody sitting out there. And then it's tough. It's tough to have that energy to be able to feel like, and no disrespect to the people out there watching us, I know you're there and I work hard to feel that energy with us too, but there's something about being in person. There's just not much of a substitute for it. So I'm glad for those of you who braved the heat and came out. I know it's bad and I know we're getting to the end of August, but when my husband, who is a native Texan, says, do you think we should move to Michigan for, part of the year, which is where I'm from, now, come January, he'd be going like, no, we're done here. But it is great that we can all be here, be in the nice, beautiful space and air. That's been our mantra. I have enough. I have enough air. I have enough health. I have enough life and love. And we all do to share this morning. And we're going to sing one more time as we get the energy moving in this room.
There's a new song. I think we've done it once or twice. Word's going to be on the screen. Before I spoke a word, you were singing over me. And you've been so, so good to me. Before I took a breath, you breathed your You've been so, so kind to me. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. Oh, it chases me down, fights till I'm found, leaves the 99. I couldn't see it, still don't believe it, but you give yourself away. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. When I didn't see it, still your love fought for me. You have been so, so good to me. When I felt no worth, you paid it all for me. And you have been so, so kind to me. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. Oh, it chases me down, fights till I'm found, leaves the 99. I couldn't see it, still don't believe it, but you give yourself away. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. There's no shadow you won't light up, mountain you won't climb up, coming after me. There's no wall you won't kick down, lie you won't tear down, coming after me. There's no shadow you won't light up, mountain you won't climb up, coming after me. There's no wall you won't kick down, lie you won't tear down, coming after me. There's no shadow you won't light up, mountain you won't climb up, coming after me. There's no wall you won't kick down, lie you won't tear down, coming after me. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. Oh, it chases me down,
Good morning. I'm Sue, and this is Elaine, and we are members of your care team. And we'll be here for you for a personal prayer in the prayer room to my left after the service for about 15 or 20 minutes if you would like personal prayer. And now it's today's daily word. It's glory. I celebrate the glory of God in myself and all others.
Magnificence, radiance, and tremendous power. These are all inspiring qualities that describe the glory of God. Because I am a living expression of spirit, these glorious attributes are also part of my spiritual nature. In the presence of prayer, exquisite awareness of God's glory fills my mind and heart. Everyone is God's living expression, a reflection of divine glory, just as I am. Even when my limited human perception has not yet perceived it, my faith shows me this truth about every person I meet. As my awareness of glory within awakens, spiritual wisdom, understanding, and love teach me to cooperate with all who are seeking to build greater harmony, abundance, and compassion among all humankind and the world's creatures.
And the scripture today is from John 17, verse 22. The glory that you have given me, I have given them, so that they may be one as we are one.
I love it when the words all flow together. For today, we are really exploring that interconnectedness. And it is certainly through the power of prayer that we can support and love and add our healing energy to all of these prayer requests, those that we hold in our ministry, those that we hold for the world, those that we hold in our own hearts and minds for loved ones and friends. It is in this awareness of that divine love coursing through each of us, coursing through all people, that love that can heal and make whole, that love that allows for forgiveness and reconciliation, the love that awakens us to be a light unto our world. We infuse all of these who are experiencing a challenge in this moment in our collective love. For we know whenever two or more are in that same collective intention, miracles unfold. And so we celebrate and give thanks in this moment for what we know will unfold in the moments before us. And so it is, and so we allow it to be. Amen.
Show me the innocence of my brother. Show me the innocence of this man, even though we may be different, even though we don't agree. Show me the innocence in me. It's not my place to judge her, but only
So last week, we looked at a set of skills that will support us in greater self-awareness, awareness of our own worldview, awareness of our values, awareness of our life's purpose, and probably most importantly, awareness of our ego, some might say our personality self, or that part of us that thinks we're separate from everything, with our higher self. The first step in increasing this thing that has been labeled spiritual intelligence. We looked at all the different intelligences that we use to navigate our world, but this is probably the one least talked about, or at least in this sort of concrete and demonstratable way. So this week, as we continue this series, and it's based on the book SQ21 by Cindy Wigglesworth, who is a Unity person, but also has used this in working with people out in the corporate world, that they're beginning to wake up, just like emotional intelligence, thinking, you know, if we can get people these skills, we'll make more money because people will be more collaborative and cooperative with each other. And ultimately, spiritual intelligence is really about developing those skills that can help us navigate the world with greater compassion and wisdom. Thomas Merton, who is a Christian monk and mystic and was responsible for revitalizing in many ways and exposing a lot of people to centering prayer, when he was addressing people in a conference, he said this. He said, compassion is based on the keen awareness of the interdependence of all living beings, which are all part of one another and all involved in one another. That this skill of compassion, this ability to be compassionate, is directly related in many respects to recognizing how interdependent we are and interconnected we are with each other. And that is the first skill as we turn our attention out to the world, is to see the world as not something separate from us, but also a part of us, a part of our journey, and not just those people in our immediate circle, but the world from the big context. It's certainly one of those foundational principles that we hold in unity. Our first principle is there's one presence and one power, and it's God, and it's in all things. It is good, it is love. And so we use that as, if it's in all things, then it's within us, at least in potential. Whether it gets expressed or not, it's still present within us. And it's present within all living beings. It's present even in matter. It's the very essence from which we've all been created. And yet, we tend to not see the world that way. We see it as those people and as those, other countries that don't have the same values. They're separate from us. And yet, this skill is really asking us to begin to recognize, to look for, to welcome that awareness that our very essence, not only in our physical essence, but our spiritual essence, we are just different expressions of the same thing. In this global awareness that we have in the 21st century, we can see more clearly that interdependence globally. We can see that how we choose to dispose of our waste, how and what we buy, and how we interact with social media directly affects the rest of the people in our world, whether we ever know it or not. It has this rippling effect now that goes almost like a tidal wave in some cases because of the way we've allowed ourselves and reflected how interconnected we are technologically, but we haven't quite gotten it that translates into our interconnectedness, specifically as people. Quantum physics, this emerging science, has shown us that two photons, no matter how distant that they might be, are able to connect with each other, to react to each other, even though they have no, what we would call, physical connection with one another. And on the fringes of science, what we're just really beginning to discover, there are all kinds of experiments happening right now about the power of prayer, about the power of intention and healing to affect the physical. From the healing of bodies to meditations that can help lower crime rates. In this field, we begin to tap into that interconnectedness in order to affect those things that are separate from us, and yet we can use our collective energy to make changes, assuming they're receptive to it. In this field of interconnectedness is the place where the material impossible becomes possible. It's the field that Jesus lived in. It's the field in which he was able to see and connect with and to heal and to awaken those around him. There is a energy right now that's happening in the New Thought movement, and I just want to share it with you. If it resonates with you, you might want to go check it out. Leading up to our election season, New Thought, which is Unities Included, Divine Science, Centers for Spiritual Living, there's a number out under that umbrella, have set up a daily practice, and there's actually a daily call you'll get so that you can practice together to have this collective idea, and it's called My Election Intention. And it's really all about holding that space of peace, holding that space of, I don't know even the right word, just slipped out of my mind, holding that intention that this will be an opportunity for all of us to step up to our highest selves, whatever that looks like for you. It's not a political stand. It is the intention of holding that we collectively have an impact upon one another, and we want to have it be the highest impact that we can. So if you are interested in that, you can go check it out. Just Google it, and you'll see it, and you get a daily call. There are some Zoom sessions, I think, weekly that people come collectively together to pray. And just, if nothing else, just add your energy to that process. Jesus said it a little more simply, this idea of this global effect and influence that we have through our interconnectedness. He said, what you do to the least of me, you do to me. We forget that sometimes. We let that personality part of us sometimes say and do and react in ways that we would not do if Jesus were standing in front of us, more than likely, or our mother, or somebody else that we respect and revere. He spoke from this awareness that in addition to physical man-made laws, there is also spiritual laws. There are laws that support us at this spiritual level in living in this state and this awareness of interconnectedness. And the author, for our purposes, defines spiritual laws, or principles, as we tend to call them, as sort of rules, spiritual rules or ideas that either explain the right way to live or offer guidelines in how we can achieve greater wisdom and inner peace. There's simple spiritual laws, and those are usually outer focus. They're focused about what we should do and how we should behave, like ethical teachings, like don't kill, or do unto others as you would have them do unto you. And then there are the more complex spiritual principles that tend to be more inner focused, about how to be, not what to do, but how to be. Spiritual ideas like the creative power of our thought, our emotions, and our beliefs. In Unity, we call this, and Charles Fillmore coined it as the law of mind action. It's how we think, how we feel, how we believe directly then informs and contributes to how we act, and ultimately creates our experience of the world. That our experience, our unique perspective of it, comes from our own thoughts, feelings, and beliefs. And if we want to have a different experience, then we have to change our own thoughts, feelings, and beliefs to something different. Some have called this the law of attraction. Some might describe it as the law of cause and effect. Jesus said, as you sow, so shall you reap. It's that you can't just act one way and be another way inside. How you are in your inner being is what will ultimately be how you express and experience into the world. Some would call it karma. You know, what you put out is what you're going to get back. And it's also really closely tied to the law of giving and receiving. You know, as you give, so shall you receive. And probably, at least it was for me, one of the most difficult spiritual laws is one that Deepak Chopra calls the law of least effort. Now, when I first heard that, I was like, yes, please. Well, how do you do that? What's the least effort that we can do to do this? Sounded pretty easy, and it's one of the toughest things I think we each get challenged to be able to see how much in alignment we can be. So this is what this law looks like. There's 3 aspects to it, no matter what the circumstances are. The first is acceptance. You must accept that you are exactly where you're supposed to be at any given moment. You are on your path and your journey, and each step of your journey is crucial to the entirety of your story. If you make peace with where you are, you will be able to see your path more clearly. Accepting when you're in the midst of something that is really painful or you really don't like is a really tough thing to do. And the second is, and it's not really a surprise, responsibility. You must take responsibility for your current situation. If a problem arises, you must not blame others or yourself. A problem is an opportunity. Take the problem as it is and use it as an opportunity to discover greater wisdom. And the third part of this law is this, and this is the hard one right here. Practice defenselessness. See, I don't even want to say it. Defenselessness. Often, our first inclination is to defend our point of view because often we see, well, of course, we're right, and they're not. Think about how much energy you use fighting those battles and learn to let it go so that you are open to growing and expanding your awareness. Yeah, so guess what we're going to practice today? As we move into our time of meditation, this is going to be an opportunity just for 5 minutes, so just tell yourself it's only 5 minutes or less. It's okay, and if I really don't want to do it, I'll just sit here and close my eyes and think about what I'm going to have for lunch after this morning is over. But see if you can. Welcome it. See if you can experience just a little bit of this. So I invite you to just get comfortable where you are. Maybe if you're holding on to something in your lap, just set it aside. You might want to just close your outer eyes so that you can bring all of your attention into your own interior space. Take a deep breath in and let it go, and let that breath bring you into this moment. For there is no other moment than right now. And as you just breathe, allow that wise part of you to bring to mind a person or a situation or an event that you have found yourself battling with. That perhaps you've been blaming others for the reason that there is such unrest an uneasiness within you. Even if you know you are right, invite it into this moment. And as that begins to move in your mind, let it now move down into your heart space. Let it move in the resonance of your heart. And then also let it move down into your pelvic area. That place where our intuition, where our otherworldly guidance lives. As it's been called in integral Christianity, the spiritual womb, where our soul resides. And with all these areas active, see if you can't, for just this moment, accept that you are in exactly the right place to bring greater wisdom and compassion into this relationship or this event or this challenge. Know that however you think and feel and believe about it is yours. That it's no one else's challenge, at least in the same unique way for you. And see if there isn't some greater wisdom that's seeking to emerge and to arise out of this challenge. Just sit for a moment. Listen with your inner ear. See with your inner eyes. Feel through your heart space. And allow and accept whatever arises in this moment, in this space, as we just move into a time of silence. And then just take a moment to release it into the loving care of God. Release it into the highest wisdom that is alive in you. Release it into this global journey of our human awakening and evolution. Lay it down. Trust that you are exactly where you need to be in this moment, and that you have all of the tools, all of the guidance, all of the love and support that you need to be the brightest light you can be in the midst of it. And trust, even if it doesn't seem like anybody can see that light, that it is shining around the world in ways known and unknown. Take another deep breath in with me. And trust that if the answers didn't come in this moment, if the ways in which to be wiser and more compassionate in the world are not yet clear to you, that as you open yourself to it, it will come in the right and perfect moment. And whenever you're ready, you can begin to bring yourself back to the attention of this room, to your body, and you can open your eyes. So there's a lot of other awarenesses that are part of this big worldview that we have. You know, what follows from last week when we are aware of our own worldview, how we saw the world, what our unique blessings and beliefs and visions for that were, then we can naturally begin to be curious about, to be aware of other people's worldviews. One of the greatest spiritual gifts that we get is curiosity. And to be willing to get curious about how other people might see it. Not just say, well, they're wrong, but to say, I wonder. It doesn't mean you have to agree with it, but it helps expand your own understanding and awareness of how other people might see and understand and engage in the world. The author talks about one way that she did this, and it sounds a little macabre at first, but she started studying burial rituals in many different cultures. She said you can tell a lot about different cultures and how they care for and bury those who have left the physical body. You know, in our country, having a proper burial is a big thing. In fact, we will go to great lengths to go and retrieve people who have died either through war or some other event in a foreign country to bring them home so that the family can have a proper burial. It's what we feel like gives us maybe some closure. Even though more and more people are heading towards cremation, we still want to have that feeling where we have honored and have in our awareness those loved ones close to us. Now, like I said, cremation has become more and more in favor. It has long been the burial tradition of the Buddhists, partly because land was very precious where they lived. It was a mountainous area. There were not really spaces where they could set aside to bury, you know, millions and millions of people over time. In fact, they would probably look at our burial rituals and go, that's such a waste. You know, that's precious land. That's raw materials, and they're just wasting away in the ground. And part of that cultural shift, I think, for us is that most people no longer believe that there is going to be an end days where our bones buried in the ground are somehow going to get resurrected and rebodied for heaven. That somehow God's big enough that if that's going to happen, then we don't need our bones in some particular place. That you know, and we may laugh at it now, but that's a very heartfelt belief by people, that you need to be buried, because if you don't, you're not going to be able to be resurrected when the time comes. The ones who live way up in the mountains, the Tibetan Buddhists, they do something that I was like, I read it and I went, ooh. They actually have either the eldest son or perhaps a priest chop the body up into pieces, and they put it on a big stand, and they raise it to the sky so that the birds, the vultures, can eat the body. And then even when that's done, they bring it down and they scatter the bones so that the other creatures of the earth can go and consume that, because their idea is the circle of life means we want to give back. It's giving back to nature itself. Why would we, you know, withhold this just because it was a loved one? They're not in there anymore. We should allow this cycle of life to happen naturally. I get it, I understand it, but no, no. But it opens us up when we are willing to look at it to how people, and especially in different cultures, they may have a whole different physical environment in which they have to create their collective traditions and practices. And when we're willing to sort of seek these opportunities and to learn and to understand other points of view, we discover better ways sometimes of looking at things. And then you can see, so awareness of worldviews, awareness of the limitations of the power of our human perception. We've talked about that quite a bit, that just because we see it a certain way doesn't mean that that's the actual way that other people see it too. I want to leave you with this last one. Well, it's actually these last two, the breadth of time perception and an experience of transcendent oneness. They kind of give us that skill to zoom out, if you will, to look at the big picture, not just even in terms of Earth, but when you then understand how vast the universe is. We just can't even seem to begin to find the edges of it after millions and millions of light years. It's almost too big for our minds to even wrap their heads around. But also zooming out to the long view of our humanity, of the long journey that we've all been on to continue to evolve and to grow and to recognize that paradoxically, both how insignificant whatever my issue is right now in this big, long view, and how powerful my ability is to impact life today and ultimately the long view of humanity beyond me. James Dillett Freeman had no idea when he wrote this short prayer called the Prayer for Protection that we say at the end of each service here, would affect the world, not only globally, but universally. It's been translated into dozens of languages. It has appeared in hundreds of publications that had nothing to do with unity. People read it, discovered it, said, love it. It's been printed on millions of cards that people have put in their pockets and in their wallets to take with them as they go throughout the day. And it even made its way to the moon. Some of you may know this, but in 1969, Buzz Aldrin took the Prayer for Protection with him to the moon. And he talks about how that journey, his gift of going to the moon, expanded his lens in a way that had never happened before and brought him to an unchangeable experience, a changed perception of our transcendent oneness. When he was on his way back, he describes this experience of seeing the earth, seeing the moon, seeing the sun, seeing the stars, all in this 360-degree view. And he describes it as an overwhelming sense of oneness, of interconnectedness. It wasn't from this perspective, and it couldn't be a them and an us. It was, that's me. That's me in all of it. It's all one, and it's all God. So may his experience, the wonder and the awe that he felt, rise up and expand within you as you watch this short video.
I had completed my major task for going to the moon and was on the way home and was observing the heavens and the earth from this distance, observing the passing of the heavens as we were rotating. I saw the earth, the sun, the moon, and a 360-degree panorama of the heavens. The magnificence of all of this, what this triggered in my visioning in the ancient Sanskrit is called samadhi. It means that you see things with your senses the way they are, but you experience them viscerally and internally as a unity and a oneness accompanied by ecstasy. All matter in our universe is created in star systems. And so the matter in my body and the matter in the spacecraft and the matter in my partner's bodies was the product of stars. We are stardust. And we're all one in that sense.
Rise up, rise up, rise up into your greatness. There's hope and love and joy in all creation. Celebrate the spirit life that lives in all. Come together, congregate, tear down your walls. Rise up, rise up, rise up into your greatness. Rise up, rise up, rise up into your greatness. There's hope and love and joy in all creation. Know the love of God is always in your heart. No matter where you go, you will not be apart. Rise up, rise up, rise up into your greatness. There's hope and love and joy in all creation. Step into your life and lead your own parade. Remember, there is nothing that can take away your faith. Rise up, rise up, rise up into your greatness. There's hope and love and joy in all creation. Rise up, rise up, rise up, rise up into your greatness.
Thank you, Byron and Rory. It's good music today. I liked it. Well, it is our opportunity now to share of our financial good with this ministry. We know that many of you give automatically, and we love that because, honestly, It flowed. We know how much is going to flow into the coffers, regardless of how many people show up on a Sunday. And we are grateful for the many ways and the many channels in which we receive our goods. So just know, however it is that you choose to give, we receive it with great gratitude and appreciation. In a moment here, the ushers are going to invite you to come up row by row. If you're willing and able, and in the large gift, you can place your basket or place your gift in the large basket. That's what I was trying to say. And if you give electronically, or this is not your Sunday to share, you can just add your energy into that flow of giving and receiving, and then receive an affirmation to support you this week. Or there's little cards if you prefer that. You can come and put one of those in as your representation for what you give. And then we've got new affirmations, if you haven't had one recently, that support this series. So I got a great one last week. So hopefully those will bless you as you move throughout your week. So let us take what we offer today, or the energy of that, into our hands, into our hearts, as we join and bless it together. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, Father, Mother God.
Well, time for welcome and appreciation. If you're watching us for the first time, we're glad you've chosen to join us. We invite you to visit our website and fill out the Connect card. And if you're watching locally, we invite you to visit in person. If you're visiting us in person for the first time, please complete a visitor card found in the pew pocket in front of you and drop it in the box at the back of the sanctuary on your way out. So, appreciation. Some of you may be old enough to remember an old radio show, The Shadow. The show, which ran from the 30s through the 50s, so that makes me almost old enough, featured a mysterious man, not surprisingly referred to as the Shadow. It began with a chilling voice saying, "Who knows what evil lurks within the hearts of men?" And then, in an all-knowing voice, the same announcer opined, "The Shadow knows." The Shadow was the secret identity of Lamont Cranston, who had the power to become invisible to those near him by using hypnosis. So we're getting history and appreciation today. We have an invisible shadow here at Unity. This shadow recently made a major repair to one of the benches on the patio, switched the faded numbers and letters on our mailbox to bright new ones that one can actually read, and who knows what else. We'll probably stumble upon other things. Our invisible angel did these repairs unannounced, so we simply discovered them as we stumbled upon them. There may be more repairs left undiscovered as of right now. We're fortunate to have members of our spiritual home who fix things just because they need fixing without fanfare. They do what needs to be done. And so to our shadow and to all the other angels who pitch in this manner, finally, we love you, we bless you, we truly appreciate you, and we behold the Christ in you. Namaste.
Here's what's coming up at Center of Unity. Bring a yoga mat and join us for a free Gentle Flow yoga class in Fellowship Hall. No prior experience is necessary. Please bring items to donate to the Grace Community Clinic. Visit gracegrapevine.org for a list of current needs. Come to Fellowship Hall after service next Sunday for our first Sunday lunch. This month we will be serving up some Mediterranean dishes, so bring a friend and join in the fun. Love offerings are greatly appreciated. Centering prayer is a silent prayer, a type of Christian meditation. Join Mark and Don Morris in the prayer room on the first Sundays, where we will do 2 20-minute sits followed by a meditative scripture reading. Visit contemplativeoutreach.org for more info. There are multiple ways you can make a donation to Center of Unity. You can drop your donation off at the church, mail it to our P.O. Box, visit our website, or use the COU or Venmo app. Your continued support is greatly appreciated.
All right, so thank you everybody for joining us this week. We are blessed to have this cool place to come to on Sunday mornings. Can I hear amen? That's right, all right. So I think let's sing our kids in. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
The joy is just all the way down to his feet. All right, good morning, everyone. And today was our last Sunday for our Super Science Summer. And so we got to do a spiritual science activity. And then also they went out and just had a good old fun with a water gun freeze tag. But I'll let them share what they learned.
Today we put a blindfold on and we had a partner and they would put an object and we would try to find it with our sense.
Today we played water gun tag.
Today we learned that with the blindfold and the object, that if you really tune into your surroundings, then you can see anything. We also learned that when water is squirted out of a water gun, it's freezing, like freeze tag.
Today we put on blindfolds and tried to connect with spirit to help us locate objects around the room.
All right, and then so starting next Sunday, if you arrive with your child after 10:25, they are to go directly to their classrooms because we're back to our regular program. We're not gathering in the big room after 10:25.
All right, so let's go ahead and stand up. We will join hands here and let's do our peace song together.
And so we're going to take that prayer for protection into our hearts and into our minds. We're going to do it as a call and a response to the light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Let's do it together. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.